Hey y'all, Jeremy Thomas here. I've been asked a couple of times about how to play my song, I'm Your Man, Let's Dance, that I wrote for my wife, which it's an honor that somebody would want to learn how to play it, and I really appreciate everyone listening to it. It means a lot to me. So I'll try to be brief and quick because I know everyone likes tabs and I'm struggling getting them on the computer, so I'll try to be quick with this lesson on how to play it. First things first, it's standard tuning, but it's D standard tuning. So we're tuned down a whole step with all the strings. So instead of E, A, D, G, B, E, you're D, G, C, F, A, D. But you can still play all your normal chords. And we're gonna do that a lot in this song. So first thing is first, when I open this song up, I'm sliding with my middle and my ring finger, 13 on the G string, and 12 on the B string. I'm sliding into that. And then I'm playing 11, 10. And then I'm barring down on 9, G and B string with my pointing finger, and I'm hitting that and hammering onto 11, 10. So slow, it's like this. And normal speed is. And then I'm hitting an A chord. Like that. And then on that A chord, I'm holding it down with my pointing finger, and I'm hammering on to the 4th fret on the D string and the 3rd fret of the B string with my ring and middle finger. So. And then I go back up and I play that same thing again. And then I go to that E. I'm just hitting that E string, or in this case D, hitting that by itself. And I'm kind of holding out an E chord, but I'm really only playing 2 notes, and that's the G string. I'm hammering on from 0 to 1 with my pointing finger and hitting the bottom string. So, like that. So that whole sequence together slow is. Go into this little walk down up here, which, just to let you know, I'm doing 5 and 4. So 5 on the A string, skipping a string down to the G, and I'm playing 4. And then I'm playing 4, 2 on those same strings, and then 2 with a hammer onto 1 again there. So it sounds like. So all together with that. Back here again, barring down on that 9th fret, doing that same hammer onto 11, 10. Then I'm barring down the 9 on the 2 strings above that, which is just D and G string. And I'm hammering on my middle finger just the 11th fret of the D string. Like that, hammering on and pulling off kind of. So. And then I'm going to this B. Now this is a very Hendrix thing. I'm holding down the 7th fret of the top string with my thumb. You hear that a lot of like Little Wing and songs like that. So you have your thumb on there, and so had to think about it. So I'm thumb on the 7th fret of the top string, your E string, and then I have my pointing finger barring down the D and G string at the 7th fret. And I'm hammering on just with my middle finger to the 8 of the G string. So, and then I'm doing it again, and I'm playing this little lick. Let me do it real quick so I can see if I can remember. All right, so I'm hammering on from 7 to 8, and then going down a string to the 9th fret of the D string, then the 7th, then the 9th of the A, 7th of the A, and then I'm just going back to the 6th. So, and then I'm using my pinky to grab this 9th on the D string, to hit that 7th at the top. So slow. Like that. And then, well, let me play that whole sequence for you slow so you can hear it from the beginning to that point. The very end part, I'm back to the 9th fret of the G, B, or D and G strings, and I'm the same thing that we had just done, just on that 11 of the G string with this finger. So and then you're sliding into the 9. That's 9-7-9-7 on the A and the E string. So, and then you just hit that top E, and you do that walk down we already did again. And then you start singing. See that sparkle in your eye. When you do that, all you're doing is same thing we already did. Let me take you by the hand and all. That's the verse and the chorus. Whole time. That's the solo backing and everything is just that. Let me take you by the hand. So let's run to the solo real quick. We're gonna mix between major and minor pentatonic. For those who know pentatonic, which I think a lot of guitar players know, it's kind of like our go-to. We're gonna be in that E minor, of course. But we're gonna be in major. Quick tip, if you don't know how to make it major, move that shape down 3 frets to the 9 and the 12 as opposed to the 12 and the 15. And now you can make it major. Outline that E note, or in this case D. So the solo, we're gonna do this hammer on from 9 to 11 on the D string. And then you're gonna go to the 9th fret of the G string. So, and then I'm kind of hitting back, hitting that 11th the back, but sometimes I miss it, so it just sounds like. And then I'm bending, boomer bend, on the 11th fret of the G string, and I'm grabbing the 12th fret of the B string, and then I'm coming back down. So, you know, very country stuff, so the whole thing, so real quick. So I'm kind of hitting it on the way down, and going down to the 9th fret, then 11-9 on the D string. So. Then that 9th fret of the G string again, and then I'm 11-9 on the D string, and I'm bending up. So all together slow. And then I just do the Stevie Ray Vaughan kind of thing there. So that's the first part. Then the next thing you do is the same thing, just in minor. So we did that in major. Then we just go up to minor, which is 12 and 14. So that is 11, 12, 14, 12, 14. So bend that 14, grab that 15, So. And then I'm doing, barring the 12, at G and B strings, and I'm hammering onto the 13 of the G string with my middle finger. So. And then 14, 12 on the D string. So. I got to think about that one. So 14, 12, slide to the 12 as you're hitting it. So slide to the 12, 10, 12, back up to the 14, 10, and then 12 on the E string. So all together slow on that part, it's. And then you're doing 12, 10, 12 on the top string. So you're doing it 3 total times, I guess, there. So let me play it slow real quick and make sure I know it. All right, so what you're doing is that 12, 10, and then 12, 10, 12 on the top string, and then you go to the A string and you're doing 10, 12, 10, and then 12, 10, 12 again on that top string, and then you do the little whistle thing. I do it on the B and G string, so I come up on the B string, down on the G string, so turn it up a little bit. So I do it like that. So let's just play that whole thing all together real slow from the top of that solo. And then we go back to our B shape where we have our thumb at the 7th fret again. Except for instead of playing it, we're going to play it down here. So thumb. So that's 7 on the very top string, your very low string, low D in this case. And that's 10, 7, which I'm playing with my ring and my pointing finger. And then I'm doing this little slide from the 10 to the 9 and pulling off to the 7. And then 9, 7. You're just walking down that scale. And then I'm doing, which is barring that 7, hammering onto the 8 with your middle finger, and then playing the 9 with your ring finger, and then that 7, 7, 8, 7 again where you're hammering on. So let me just play that part slow again. And then I hit it either at that 7, I think on the record, on the recording, I slide up to the 12 on the D string. So. Either do that or I go to the 7th fret of the G string. You can do either one, whatever's easiest. Either one. And then lastly, I play this little back to the minor pentatonic again, where I'm playing the 12, 15 on the B string, 12 on the B string. So that 12, 15, 12, 14, 12, 14, then back to the 12 on the G string, hammer onto the 14th, slide up to the 16th, and then with my finger I'm catching the 14th on the D string. So let me play the whole solo slow real quick.
Walk down again. So all together fast on that one, it's just. That's the gist of the song. So have any more questions, let me know. I'll still work on trying to get the tabs down, but thank you for listening, and I hope that helps.